Hello and welcome. We're back. Ashcan Pete has got the next stage of his adventure. Let's do that so you're not looking at my larger child when she was small. Right. Okay, straight into it. Undimensioned and unseen. Your search of the village of Dunwich has uncovered a number of documents, journal entries, and esoteric theories. Reading through these materials leaves you exhausted and emotionally drained. Most of the content was written by a single source, a man named Seth Bishop. When you ask around town, you learn that Seth is a citizen of Dunwich. Along with several others, Seth witnessed firsthand the devastation wrought by the events of the Dunwich Horror. As Armitage had dubbed the incident, curiously, since that time, very few people had seen Seth around town, and those who did claimed his eyes had been bloodshot and his face sweaty and pale. You don't doubt that somebody who has seen what Seth has seen would appear nervous or paranoid, but the more you read of his frantic and unhinged writings, the more you believe he's involved in recent events. His writings speak of having gathered the remains, and of using arcane methods to imbue the Father's essence into other creatures and eventually into other people. The explanations and diagrams that follow are unfathomably complex and defy understanding. Before you're able to find Seth and confront him, several men and women from the village approach you in panic. "It's back," one of them wails. You recognize him as Curtis Whately of the Undecayed branch. "Whatever it was that killed them fries, it's back, up and smashed up the bishop's home like it were made of paper." Curtis and the other townsfolk are clamouring amongst themselves, raising their voices in panic. The investigators must decide. Choose one. Try to calm down the townsfolk in order to learn more, or warn them and convince them to evacuate. I think we should calm them down and try to learn more. I mean, they should evacuate as well, but we can do it in order. Calm them down, learn more, then they can evacuate, surely. So, I go to part one. You aim to calm the townsfolk so they can explain to you what is going on. They inform you that there was a rumbling to the north, and when they went to investigate, they found the bishop's farmhouse had been torn to shreds. A trail of heavy tracks led into nearby Cold Springs Glen. You know what to do, right? "You Arkham folks stopped that thing last time," one of the townsfolk says. Curtis shakes his head and bites his lip. "We wouldn't have even seen that hellish thing until the old professor sprayed that there powder on it," he says. "To this day, I wish I hadn't seen it at all. Something must be done to stop the monster's rampage, but if the documents you found are true, there may be more than one such creature on the loose. Record in your campaign log that you calmed the townsfolk and then continue to set up." Okay, I calmed the townsfolk. Let's do it now. So I did realise as well when I was upgrading my cards after the last session that I gave myself 2 extra XP. I hadn't cleared all of the clues in the hidden chamber, so I had to give those back despite having spent it. So I have spent. So as a quick recap, blood on the altar. The investigators put Silas Bishop out of his misery. Zebulon Whately was sacrificed to Yog Sothoth. Dr. Henry Armitage, Professor Warren Rice, Dr. Francis Morgan, and Earl Sawyer all survived the Dunwich Legacy. We added some survivors to the plus the powder of Imgazi to the deck. Then what we did was we spent our experience. We had 6 in total, 2 from the previous one that we hadn't spent. So we upgraded our deck by putting Scrapper 3 in, the 3.1, which is a permanent upgrade rather than having to get it out. It was quite good. Now, because that's a permanent card, it doesn't take up a place in your deck. So then we pulled out the old Scrapper and swapped that with Will to Survive, which costs 3. We'll see if it comes up. And that brings us up to date to an undimensioned and unseen I have set up. Let's have a look. So let's see if we can do this. Hopefully I mean, I know it's still not totally seeable, but hopefully you get a gist of what's happening. We've got Pete, we've got his faithful hound Duke. Pete has actually got a mental trauma, so let's stick that on there to start. He's got his permanent Scrapper out. We've got the powder. That's allowed to be put out. And then over here, we have Dunwich Village, where Pete is. Various things are connected. So this is connected to the Cold Springs Glen, 10-acre meadow, and the blasted heath. Over this side, beyond the 10-acre meadow, is the Devil's Hop Yard and the Whately Ruins. Now, because we'd only had one person sacrificed, we started the game with a brood of Yog-Sothoth on the Cold Springs Glen and one also on the blasted heath. So these are massive monster abominations. The brood of Yog-Sothoth gets +1 health per investigator, so they only have actually 2 health, but they do have a fight value of 6. And the only way to damage them or attack them even is to use the ability on the esoteric formula. Now, we don't have those. They're put to one side. So we'll have to see what happens with those. So, my coffee's in the way. Don't worry. When it's finished, I shall remove it. We've also had a random injury, madness, or pact weakness into our deck, which I have done. I've done that random. Then we have the agenda and the act. So the agenda 1A is rampaging creatures. Reports of terrifying entities wreaking havoc across the countryside have caused the citizens of Dunwich to panic. Worse, the creatures seem to be invisible to the naked eye. So 2 of them I can actually see, and that must be because people made the powder for me, I'm assuming. This powder of Imgazi. So the powder of Imgazi enters play with X clues on it, where X is the number of characters who survived the Dunwich Legacy. Okay, so we move 1 clue from the powder to an exhausted brood of Yog-Sothoth at my location. Okay, for a fast action. So is that what it's saying? I know it's saying on esoteric formula. I put clues. Okay, so we'll have to see. So at the end of the enemy phase, move each brood of Yog-Sothoth once towards a random location. So we have a deck of cards which represent those which there's always alternatives, or most of the time alternatives for different spaces. So the alternatives for those spaces we shuffle, and that's where each one's going to go to, I suppose. We're doing one at a time. Okay, and then Act 1A, Sacrosanct Script. Oh no. Saracenic Script. Not Sacrosanct, Saracenic. The monsters tearing through Dunwich County are immune to traditional weapons. Only by reciting a particular incantation can the creatures be defeated. First, you must search the ruins of Wilbur Whately's home in order to find the final sections of the Otherworldly script. Objective: only investigators at Whately Ruins may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. Right, so we need to spend 2 clues to advance the act, and it's going to take 5 doom to advance the agenda. Okay, we can do that. So where we're starting, Dunwich Village. It says on the locked side, it's always a relief to get clear of the place and to follow the narrow road around the base of the hills and across the level country beyond till it rejoins the Aylesbury Pike. Afterward, one sometimes learns that one has been through Dunwich. So again, all these are quotes from the story. I do recommend, actually, one thing that I like to fall asleep to is if you go on Audible, if you have it, and search Dark Adventure Radio Theatre. They have a lot of dramatised versions that are about an hour each of the Lovecraft stories. Great fun and very hammed up 1920s style radio dramas. And the Dunwich horror one is a particular favourite. Anyway, on the flip side, it's got a shroud of 3 and 1 clue. I can resign from there. I can borrow some hounds for an action to track the creatures by scent. An investigator in Dunwich Village may place one of his or her clues on any abomination enemy in play. Okay, so for an action from there, we can place a clue on an abomination. So this powder does that as well. So it'll be interesting to see why you'd want to put them on there. I don't know, because I've not read ahead. You're experiencing this for the first time with me. So, happy coffee days. Let's start with our starting hand. Let's see what we get and whether we're doing a mulligan. We have a test of will. This is our new one, I think. Oh no, I might have got an updated version. Play with an investigator at your location draws a non-weakness. Yeah, I must have got the updated version for one of them. I'm not too sure. We have I'm out of here. Let's bail. Scavenging. That's the first time that's come up, I think, in 5, 6 episodes. We have an emergency cache and Professor Rice. So this isn't great. I think I am going to take Professor Rice as an ally. He can soak up some horror. And I'm going to take my cash. And I'm going to ditch those 3. And we are going to get Seeking Answers. Oh no. Dr. Morgan. So this is not a good start. I'm going to shuffle these plus these 3 weaknesses that we have now into the deck. Okay. It's not looking good. I have no assets. My starting supplies are there. And that is us ready to rock and or roll. So I'm going to sup this and we'll be back. So first things first, I am going to play Professor Warren Rice. So Professor Rice, I get +1 to my knowledge. And after I discover the last remaining clue in my location, I can exhaust him to draw a card. That costs 3. And then we are going to, for our second action, investigate with Duke. What I'm going to do is I'm going to commit 1. So that'll give us a 6. And we're going to see whether or not we're successful. That takes us down to a 5. So yes, we are successful. We collect the clue. Then after I discover the last remaining clue in my location, I can draw a card. I'm out of here. I exhaust Professor Rice. So that's 2. And then I might as well just go straight in for my last action for the emergency cache. And gain 3 resources. And that's my 3 actions. And then there's no enemy. Oh, there is an enemy. So at the end of the enemy phase, I move each one once towards a random location. Okay, so let's start with the one on the blasted heath. I'm going to just shuffle this, looking away. And it's going to move towards Dunwich Village. Nice. Now, it can get to Dunwich Village. Happy days. Can it? Yes, it can. So that moves to the village, and I think it immediately engages me. Brilliant. And then the other one is going to move, oh, great, towards Dunwich Village. Right, so that's going to engage me. And I can't hurt them. And if I move away, they're going to get to do attacks of opportunity, aren't they? An enemy with the massive keyword cannot be placed in an investigator's threat area. Okay, so it attacks everybody it's engaged with, and it's engaged with everybody just by being at the location. A massive enemy does not move with an engaged investigator who moves away from its location. Okay, so suppose I need to evade. Never done an evade, I don't think. So I'll put these 2 back into Dunwich Village. That didn't go too well for the people of Dunwich. But thankfully that's the end of the bad guys phase, the monsters. Upkeep. Reset everyone. Ka-ching. We get ourselves another little one of these. We draw a card. We get scavenging. After I successfully investigate by 2 or more, choose an item from my discard pile. That's pretty good. But I haven't got a great deal here. A ready enemy with the massive keyword is considered to be engaged with each investigator. Okay, so yeah, I think I have to evade, and I think I'm going to have to evade both of them. I mean, I could investigate with Duke in the adjacent location, but I think because I do that, because it's not an attack or a parley or an evade, I think they'll still get to do an attack of opportunity. I don't have any auto evades, so I think I need to just bail. So I think I'm going to do my evade. I have a skill of 3. I'm going to spend a resource and use Scrapper to make it 4. And then I'm going to use I'm out of here to make it 6. Just because I really want to evade. So, oh, hang on. Yeah, I will. So 6. And I get a cowled figure. And in this one, reveal another token. If I fail, take a horror. -3. So I was 6. -3 meets the 3. So I succeed. So the first one is going to be... I think this is how it works. I think I have to do it for each of these guys. If I'm doing it wrong, please tell me. So the first one's exhausted as I get away. Now to evade the second one, I'm going to spend a resource again. But then I'm going to commit Dr. Morgan and Seeking Answers to put me up to 6. -1. I succeed. So I think that's right. So that's now exhausted. That's my first 2 actions. And then I will investigate with Duke, which exhausts him. I investigate with a base of 4, which will become 5 because of Warren Rice. And I may move to a connecting location immediately before investigating. I think that's how it works. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to move to 10 Acre Meadow. 10 Acre Meadow. The trees of the frequent forest belts seem too large, and the wild weeds, brambles, and grasses attain a luxuriance not often found in settled regions. At the same time, the planted fields appear singularly few and barren. 10 Acre Meadow, Shroud of 2, 3 clues. For a fast action, I can set a bait using a live animal. Each investigator may place one of his or her clues on an abomination enemy in 10 Acre Meadow. Okay, so there are the 3 clues. We are going to do the investigate. It's an investigate of 4, up to 5 because of Professor Rice. Takes us down to a 4. It's got a Shroud of 2, so we succeed. We get one of those. That's our 3 actions. So enemy phase, they're exhausted, so they don't get to do anything, I don't believe. Now, do they get to move while they're exhausted? Okay, so I'm not too sure, but I think that I'm going to treat this similar to if the broods add the hunter keyword, where they can only move if they're unexhausted. I think because I've dodged them. I mean, I'm not 100% sure on this, so if anybody knows, please do let me know. But I think I've evaded them correctly, and I think that they're not going to move because they're exhausted, because they've been evaded. If I've done any of that wrong, as I say, let me know. So I'm not going to move those in the enemy phase. I'm going to go to the upkeep phase. So Duke gets readied. These get readied. I get a token, a resource, and I get, oh no, panic. So, my basic weakness. Put panic into play in your threat area. Panic can be healed as though it were a single point of horror. If it's healed, discard it. After you take a play, engage, or resource action, you can't take any of those types for the remainder of the turn. Okay, so I don't seem to have any way to heal that at the moment. So that's unfortunate. But that's there. So I'm panicking. He's seen stuff again. This is all going wrong. Mythos phase. I need to put a doom on. I forgot last turn. So I'm actually going to draw 2 encounters. This could be very bad. I'm going to shuffle it so that we don't know whether or not it was going to impact on the last turn. So I'm going to do these one after the other because I was dumb. So first things first, ruin and destruction. If there are no investigators at the same location as a brood of Yog-Sothoth, ruin and destruction gains surge. So there isn't, so surge. Dissonant voices. Revelation, put dissonant voices into play in your threat area. You can't play assets or events. At the end of the round, discard it. So next turn, I'm not going to be able to play assets or events. And then I'm going to get a second card just because I messed up. Altered Beast. Revelation. If there are no abomination enemies in play, it gains surge. There are. Otherwise, choose an abomination enemy. Heal all damage from that enemy and attach altered beast to it. Okay. So when I enter an attached enemy's location or it enters mine, I'll take a horror. So I'm going to just put it on the top one. So that is now an altered beast. Oh, crikey. This is not ideal, is it? Okay, so I think that puts us back. Amateur hour here, but, you know, we're getting there. We're playing it with good intentions. So that puts us through the Mythos phase. 3 more Doom can be done. I have my 2 clues, so I can spend 2 clues on the ruins. So I think I can actually get there from here. I can. So we're going into the investigator phase. Now I can't, let me get this right. So I can't play assets or events. So I haven't got any assets or events. All I've got at the moment is a talent. So, oh, that's an asset. So yeah, I can't play that. Right then. So for my first action, I am going to move to the Whately Ruins. Whately Ruins. It was as though a house launched by an avalanche had slid down through the tangled growths of the almost vertical slope. Okay, so it's got a shroud of 2 and 2 clues. Each investigator at Whately Ruins gets -1 willpower. For an action, I can test knowledge. If I'm successful on a 4 check, move a brood of Yog-Sothoth in any direction. The ancient and arcane tomes found within the Whately Ruins hold the secrets to manipulating the monsters. Okay, so I've moved there. I'm going to put 2 clues. And then I will spend my 2 clues. So I've moved. This isn't an action, so all I've done so far is move. Okay, so check campaign log. So if Dr. Armitage survived, I know he did. There, Armitage sighs a breath of relief, jotting down the last phrases of the formula. I've translated the last of it. He shudders as he hands you the script, the words conjuring forth memories of his battle with the creature. I hope this is the last time I'll have to read it, he admits. But if we do nothing, the end result will be much, much worse. Each investigator puts into play 1 set-aside esoteric formula. Now, it says I can't play assets or events. That didn't ask me to play it. It just said I put take control of it. So now with the esoteric formula, as a fight action, I use willpower instead of fist. I get +2 willpower for each clue on the attacked enemy. Okay. So really, I need to start putting some clues on these things. So let's see what the next section of the act says. They must be destroyed. With the formula in hand, you finally have the means to destroy the creatures wreaking havoc in Dunwich, but only if you can survive long enough. Objective: defeat as many brood of Yog-Sothoth enemies as you can. If there are no copies of Brood of Yog-Sothoth in play or set aside, advance. But I think there are 3 set aside. Because only one of my guys died, I think it said 3 set aside. If there were 1 or fewer names listed, put 1 copy of Brood of Yog-Sothoth into play in Cold Springs Glen. Put 1 into the Blasted Heath, then set the final 3 aside. Out of play. So that's saying I've got to kill 5? Madness. Okay, but I can only kill what's in front of me. So I have to kill as many as I can or escape. So far I've moved. Now from here I can move it one space. I think I need to investigate first of all. So I'm going to investigate with Duke at 5. -1, I get that. So I take one of those clues. So I can move one in any direction, but I don't really want to. I think I'd rather just draw another card. So Earl Sawyer. I've got too many bloody allies in my deck here, haven't I? Right. So that is the end of my turn. So enemy phase. At the end of the enemy phase, we'll go for the Altered Beast first of all. The Altered Beast is going to go towards Dunwich Village. It's already in Dunwich Village. The other one is going to go towards the Waitley Ruins. Okay. And then upkeep, we reset people. This goes away. Oh no, that's at the end of the round. It doesn't matter though, does it? What's it? A resource. I draw a card. A test of will. Play when an investigator draws a non-weakness treachery card. They're not great, these things. I need a weapon. Well, I don't even need a weapon because I can't hurt the things. Right. Right then. So I put a doom. 2 more to go. I draw a encounter card. Sordid and Silent. Revelation. Attach Sordid and Silent to my location. At the end of the round, each investigator there takes a horror. When the agenda advances, discard it. So at the moment, it's Sordid and Silent there. So I'm going to take horror if I stick around. Oof, I'm going to take more horror fighting. I'm going to go and fight that brood though, I think. We are going to move here. For a fast action, I'm going to put this onto that. I am going to fight with my mind of 4. I get +2 for each clue, so that gives me 6. And then I am going to commit Earl Sawyer to make it 7 and Test of Will to make it 8. Don't know whether to put another clue in from there with the powder. I think I will. Oh no, there was a fast action one here, wasn't there? I can set a bait using a live animal as a fast action. I can place one of her clues on an abomination here. Okay, so I'm going to put that one as a fast action onto it. So I'm going to get +4 from these. +5. So 9. So 9 minus 3 is 6, which is enough to beat its fight. So it's defeated. Woohoo! So that was good. We moved. We did some free fast actions. And we did a fight. So I am going to draw a card for my 3rd action. Lucky. That's good. Okay, so that's the end of the investigator phase. The enemy phase, there's nobody there. So this Altered Beast one, which is the nasty one, it's now going to move to a random location. Scares me. It's going there. It's going to the Devil's Hop Yard. Oh no, it's going towards the Devil's Hop Yard. The only way to get to the Devil's Hop Yard is from 10 Acre Meadow or the Blasted Heath. So is it going to come through 10 Acre Meadow or the Blasted Heath? What's the script? Is there like an overarching rule of the Grim Rule? Is that right? Okay, so when somebody is equidistant to a location for prey, for example, or for investigators, the lead investigator chooses which way they move. So because he's equidistant to that location, I'm going to choose that he moves the other way. Just because I don't fancy fighting it just yet. Or do I want to fight it? I don't think I want to fight it just yet. It'll come in, it'll do horror to me. But I could just fire all those clues onto it and kill it. Yeah, I'm just going to move it onto me. So it's going to come on. So we're going to take a horror. And we're going to put said horror on Professor Rice, because he's our horror soak. And then that's it, it's moved. That's at the end of the phase though, so it don't get to attack me. Then we go to upkeep, we reset people. Take a clue, not a clue, a resource. I will remember its name. Then we take our card. Oh, it's the sledgehammer. It's not really useful at the moment because I can only hurt these things with willpower. Okay, and we put a doom on the agenda and we draw. Towering beasts. Peril. Attached to a brood of Yog-Sothoth and an enemy in play. If it's at your location, take a damage. It gets +1 fight and +1 health. Oh, that's scuppering me, isn't it? So I'll take a damage. There you go, Rice. And then it gets +1 fight, so it's now got a 7 for its fight. Oh, I didn't need that just then, did I? It's got a fight of 7 and 2 health. Okay, so that was fun. So we go to the investigator phase. So I think I am going to... So its fight is now 7. I think I'm just going to ditch these 2 powders onto it. Oh, it gets +1 health per investigator. So the last one should have had 2 health. So this one's going to have 3 health. Right. Let's just pretend from last go, rather than draw that extra card, whatever it was. Sledgehammer, say. Or was it lucky? Whichever one it was. I'll put it back on top anyway, because I'll get it back. So I'm going to have to say that I had attacked it again. Right. So we're into it. We've put 2 clues on it, which means we're +4. We are a base of 4. So we're now on an 8. And I think that's all we can really do. 8. So first action. Got 3 health. -1, so that does 1 to it. Same again. The cowled figure. Take another one out. Oh, that's the auto fail, is it? Oh no, -3. Oh, -3. If this token is revealed during an attempt against a brood, it immediately attacks you. So -3. I was 8 takes me to 5. It's actually got a 7 because this one's got the +1. So I failed by 2. However, I'm going to spend lucky, which makes it pass. But it does get to fight me. So it's going to do 2 horror and 2 damage. So 2 damage. I'm going to put 1 on me, 1 on Duke. And then the 2 horror, I'm going to put 1 on Mr. Rice and 1 on Duke. Okay. And then for my last action, I'm just going to go again. This one's got 3. This is mad. It's a skull. -1 for each brood in play. So that's okay, because I'm on an 8. -1 is 7. It is a 7. Crikey. That was close, actually, wasn't it? I didn't realise it was so close. We take it. Thank the maker. It's 2 XP earned already, and now there's no bad guys in play. That's good. See, if people had have died in the previous missions, you don't start with quite so much stuff. And in one of them, there's only 2 that you have to defeat. I've got to defeat all 5. Don't know if I'm going to manage it. Anyway, that's that phase. There's no hero. There's no enemies. I get a resource and a card. It's the sledgehammer. Who'd have thought it? Right, then we advance Doom. That ticks it over. So when the agenda, so when the agenda advances, this is discarded. Okay, calamity strikes. An old pickup truck rolls to a stop along the weathered trails of Dunwich. The driver, Joe Osborne, calls out to you through a shattered driver's side window. The truck's engine's still running. "It's over at the Eric's farm," he shouts. "Done blasted the place apart. Poor Henry and Martha." You ask Osborne for the location of the Eric's homestead, and it confirms your worst fear. For that attack to have occurred recently, there must be another one of the monsters on the loose. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck and spawn one of the set-aside broods at a random location. Okay. At least I'm going to get to fight them one at a time. I need to get some more clues, though. Right. So I spawn another one at a random location. The Dunwich Village. Okay. Right. Agenda 2. Biding its time. Once in a while, a wind sweeping up out of the cold spring glen would bring a touch of ineffable fetor to the heavy night air, but the locked-in terror did not appear. Whatever was down there in the glen was biding its time, and Armitage told his colleagues it would be suicidal to try to attack it in the dark. At the end of the enemy phase, move each brood of Yog-Sothoth once towards a random location. Okay, so that's the same. And it's 6 before it's advanced. Maybe another one advances. Another one spawns at the end of that. That's pretty good. Okay, so we advanced Doom. Now we have to draw our encounter card. The creature's tracks. Peril. Revelation. You must either take 2 horror or spawn a set-aside brood of Yog-Sothoth at a random location. Crikey. I'll spawn one. I have got another 2. It's coming to 10 Acre Meadow. Oh, that's where I am. Oh, joy. So that's engaged with me. Happy days. Okay, so investigation phase. I'm going to put this last clue that I have on there. This one's only got 2 health, but I've only got +2 to it. I can't investigate, or else I'll get a attack of thingy against me. Opportunity. So, although I could investigate, I'd take 2 horror and 2 damage, which I can take, just, and then I'd get there. Get another clue. Okay, I think I'm going to risk fighting it first, because there's nothing... It's not like I'm going to lose from that. So yeah, I'll risk fighting it. So it's straight. Nothing I can do to make myself any more. So it's a straight 6v6. Skull. No, I fail. That was -2. Okay, so now I'm going to investigate with Duke. And I'm going to move to there to investigate. It'll do an attack of opportunity, so I'll take 2 horror and 2 damage. So Duke can take 1 of the horrors. I can take another horror. The damage, I'm going to have to take both. Oofed. Okay, and then we get to investigate there. It's got an investigate of 5 at the moment. I'm going to spend scavenging because it's junk to make me 6. Cowled figure. Take another, I'll take horror. -1 makes me 5. So we get that. Because we've got that, we exhaust Professor Rice and draw a new card. Jury rig. See, this is just no good. I've got my sledgehammer and jury rig, which I love, but I'm fighting these massive beasts. Right, and then for my final action, I really need some healing. I'm actually going to test. I'm going to do the action on the thing. So I'm going to test I'm going to test knowledge at 4 to move 1 in any direction. So I'm going to move that one if possible. So test knowledge 4. He's exhausted. That's willpower, sorry. So it's just going to be 4 v4. Yep. Get in. So I'm going to move it to that. Yeah, to that. Right. That's my go. Enemies. The one with the clue on it. It's going to the Wakely Ruins. And then the other one. I'm going to go to the 10 Acre Meadow. They both come. Don't like. Me no likey. I've got to run away. I think Devil's Hop Yard has to be where I'm going to go. Right, anyway. We get some Doom. No. Before that, we have Cleanup. You. Oh, so we're getting pretty beaten up here. One of these. Oh no. Another weakness. Racked by nightmares. Not only am I panicking, I'm now racked by nightmares. Exhaust all assets I control and put it into play in my threat area. And I cannot ready my assets. All of these are assets as well. I'm going to just pretend they're all exhausted. Oh, just noticed as well that the powder, I can only put it onto exhausted broods at my location. Such is life. Nothing I can do about that now, is there? So, keep that played. Yeah, this isn't looking very good. I always say that, but this is looking particularly grim. I've put my doom on. Encounter rotting remains. Test willpower. For each point I fail by, take a horror. This could be the end. I'm -1 to my willpower here. So yeah. I think I may have got one or two things wrong earlier. I think not worth worrying about. It's all done in good faith. -4 takes me to 0. So I fail by, well, 3. Because the difficulty of the test is 3. So I have to take 3 horror. Oh no, I can get rid of Professor Rice. 1. 2, 3. We've seen some stuff. A sickening display of gore causes you to retch. You're glad this wasn't you. Right. I've got 1 health. Duke's got 1 health. I'm racked by nightmares. I can't even ready Duke. I can't use any of my stuff. I'm going to have to spend my first 2 actions getting rid of racked by nightmares. And then we just have to move. Because otherwise they're going to potentially be on us. So we're going to move to the Devil's Hop Yard for the first time. Still others try to explain the Devil's Hop Yard. A bleak, blasted hillside where no tree, shrub, or grass blade will grow. Devil's Hop Yard. Shroud of 1. 2 clues. For a free action, I can lure the creature into the thick fog. I can place up to 2 of my clues on an abomination in the Devil's Hop Yard. Well, that's good. Only once per game, though. Okay, so that was it. That's all my actions. Enemy phase. The one without a clue on it's on the top, so I'll do that one first. It's going to the blasted heath. I think it can get there from that space. No, it can't. So the fastest way to get to the blasted heath is going to be through Dunwich Village. Devil's Hop Yard. So the fastest way to get there is going to be through the Waitley Ruins. Okay. Place a doom. Oh no. Ready things. So much resources that are of absolute no use. Dauntless Spirit. It gains willpower equal to my strength. My strength's only 2, but that's an extra 2 for a what's it? Committing to a test, I suppose. Right, Mythos. 1 doom. 1 encounter. A whippoorwill. Loof hunter. Each investigator at whippoorwill's location gains -1 to each stat. Okay. I do think I might be best just bailing here, you know. I need to get back to Dunwich Village, but I think I've just got to run for it. I could just go now. I've got a couple of turns. I'm just so worried I've got no healing. I'm just going to die. If I end up in combat with either of them, I can't take the horror. I think I just have to leave. I've got no healing at all. So although it pains me to do this, I think discretion is the better part of valor. And we have to just go... One, two, and then for a fast action, I'm just going to resign. It's sad. I know it's sad. But the objective was to defeat as many as you can. I just don't think I could do any more. I don't get to flip it. I think I just have to go to the resolution for if I resigned. Honestly, there were so many. I think in a multiplayer game, it might have been a bit easier, but going true solo there, I was going to lose my sanity, or Duke's sanity, without doubt. Did manage to kill 2. I think I could have killed the 3rd one, but knowing that there was another one and another that could come out at any time, no, I think Pete had to go. So he's left. Let's see what it says. Okay, so I feel bad. I do feel quite bad, but there we go. If no resolution was reached and every investigator was resigned, okay. You did all you could to stop the rampaging monsters, but there were more of them than you realized, and you weren't able to slay them all. Exhausted and terrified, you retreat to Zebulon's home and hope to survive the night. In your campaign log, record that X brood escaped into the wild. X is the total that are still in play or set aside. If an investigator's deck contains the powder, remove it from the deck. Each investigator earns experience equal to the victory X value of each card in the display, so 2. So I get 2 experience, and I have to write that 3 escaped. So I do feel quite bad, but honestly, I think that getting to the next chapter was more important than just dying trying. So there you go. What would you have done? So Pete, what did it say I had to write? 3 brood escaped into the wild. Okay, and thus ends the chapter. But we do live to come to Where Doom Awaits, which is the next one. The penultimate episode in the Dunwich Legacy campaign expansion. I'm going to have a look, see what I can do about this deck. I think I need to pull some of these allies out because I think I've diluted the deck too much and I had no healing there and I really suffered. So there we go. Thank you for watching, especially if you got this far.